Inhale in through your nose, prepare for Om. 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 Take a long inhale in through your nose once you've completed the sound, and a slow exhale out through your nose. And let's begin in Balasana today in Child's Pose. So you're welcome to really find any position you like, but for Child's Pose, if you wish, you can bring yourself to hands and knees position like tabletop. You might bring your big toes together. You could have your knees together or wide. And you can sit your hips on or towards your heels, drape your body forward and down in front of you. You can always stack your fists or put a book underneath your forehead if the neck feels tight or the shoulders feel like undue weight is in them. And also bring your elbows out and bend them or slide the hands back by the hips. And relax your neck as much as possible in whatever position you've chosen. And in Child's Pose, we bring the spine into this primordial position, this first kyphotic curve, this curl, the C shape that it first had in utero. And that's really true of like all vertebrate life. Everybody with a spine kind of starts that way in development. It's a very curled in position like this, where the internal organs can develop in protection, where everything sort of comes from the center outward. And as we start to examine and learn about different energetic systems, usually older systems, sometimes referred to as esoteric systems, we often see that they follow the same pattern or pathway. So just taking a moment to notice that putting yourself in this shape might seem a little bit arbitrary, or it might seem simply about where things are stretching or compressing, what the work is in the physical body. Or to consider also the sensations of your ability to tap back into experience, your experience in this lifetime, and your experience overall evolutionarily, right back from when you were minerals and molecules and cells, now to here, when you still are. We've just developed a very vast information communication system to see and feel, to hear and know one another. So let's use that system to our advantage by focusing it, that which is usually just random adaptational left from what has been useful. We use our cognition to organize it towards focus and kindness. And so as you begin to pay attention, notice what you are noticing. Maybe you notice the light in the room with your eyes or through your eyelids if your eyes are closed. What do you see in the backs of your eyelids or in the cavern of your body? What do you feel and taste? What do you notice with the textures against your skin? What do you smell? And I think of all of it as listening, because not only are you paying attention to what information is coming in, but start to notice how you're paying attention to those things. And if you have any sort of narrative, even without any of the mind's work, those sense organs really have specialized to see certain things, right? So there's actually other things happening that you can't see, infrared lights, etc., so on, the broader spectrum than what we see in our own rainbow. But think about what it means to push and pull on those edges, right? Where do you see something else? Where do you hear something more subtle than what is obvious? What do you feel? And as you pay attention to these things, you can notice the body in the same way: compression, extension, activation, softness. Notice again how the body is in its own language, as opposed to just labeling it in the language of the mind. And we notice the energy body, the energetic perspective. How do you feel? It can be a lot to turn towards that energy, but it is what is. So as you start to peel back the blinds, as it were, and see inside of that mood or quality, that energy or emotion, remember that that too has stuck around evolutionarily, is powerful. It's of use for you to be able to feel. And notice how you can use that feeling power to your advantage. Your thinking mind will flood you with thoughts, the objects of your thoughts, memories, ideas, random thoughts, obsessions, attractions. There'll also be lots of ways of forming patterns of thought over time and memory, pitching into the future, creating narrative or image, creating identity is one we do a lot. How does it reflect on me? Who am I? Etc. So on. And as you start to notice these patterns, remember they too are of use to you. But anything you're paying attention to, at least in this system of yoga, or at my suggestion of the idea, is not you, right? The self is that which is paying attention. It's just shining its light, right? The clip lights I shown on this mat, don't give a fuck about the mat, as it were. Or maybe they're so kind to the mat that their identity isn't involved in the mat. They just shine the light on it. They just illuminate it. They just create awareness. And as you begin to notice your self-consent practice that I've been offering while I'm not in the room to touch you, consider how you consent to your own wishes, right? Do you tell the body that it will perform this way or that way? Or do you allow it to tell you what it has consent for? And even though I'm in a different room, remember you hold the threads of consent. You want to do it differently. You want to do a different posture. You want to do it in a different way. Please do. Allow that self-sovereignty, that agency to come forth. Let's find the Ujjayi Pranayama, the breath practice, upward liberating or psychic breath, to hone the awareness of this broad self-universe to the here and the now of action. Start by exhaling the air you have in your lungs and get a little extra empty. And at the bottom, begin to draw air in through your nose, spreading your belly wide with breath, and then your rib cage, and maybe all the way up into your chest, and hold at mostly full. Open mouth, exhale, HA. And again, inhale through your nose, slow. Fill your back body, your low back, your kidneys, your back ribs, your shoulder blades, and hold at full, softly as you can. HA, to exhale your air out and away. Ujjayi Pranayama, seal off the lips and breathe in through the nose, slowly snoring. Spread your breath three-dimensionally throughout your body and hold it softly at mostly full. And then sealing the lips, sigh out through your nose, that same HA feeling, but through your nostrils. And as you breathe in this way, continue. Most of you know you have a context for Ujjayi. You know that it's our primary practice. Now go ahead and let that be true. Let it be the priority, even if you have to shift the other things you're doing so that the breath can be full and deep and within your awareness. And slowly start to move your child's pose with your breath. As you breathe, you might shift from side to side. You might roll your forehead on your mat or rock your hips on your heels. We're going to move in the direction of tabletop. So if you already know you need to give your knees a break and you want to start to come up and forward, feel free to do so. You can start to stretch out your legs and your ankles. You can wag your tail from side to side or stretch out through your arms and your upper body. You might fold your wrists and orbit through them a little bit. I find that in this time where we are working with a lot of feeling, we process a lot of our feeling best with the compassion, the center of the heart and the lungs. And those energy lines run down into our hands, nadis, and meridians, into fingertips and palms, out through the arms and shoulders. So this work of loosening here can be a little tender. It also tends to be a nice way to address what might be gripping or holding or bracing in the body. And come back towards neutral tabletop. In the next 3 to 5 breaths, stack your shoulders over your wrists and spread your fingers wide. Stack your knees under the sockets of your hips and make sure the distance is close enough that you feel like you can be a bit strong in the center and move from there. We tend to be out here, we're already extended, and try to find neutral. Cow and cat. Inhale, drop your belly ribs, lift your chin and tailbone up. And exhale to cat pose, tuck your chin around your spine, dome your shoulders, maybe feet pressed down. Inhale, cow pose, breathe the tail and the heart up, and exhale through to cat. And continue with your own breath through these two actions, inhaling and exhaling. And begin to move side to side as well. So you can pause going top to bottom and inhale to sort of swivel right shoulder to right hip and exhale left shoulder to left hip. Go back and forth. You're also welcome to start making circles sort of around that whole business, like you're cleaning out the inside of a barrel. Move your spine around. And for a lot of us, bending the elbows and shifting around will just give you a little more space where things are resistant or where the structure of your stable joints limits range any further. And wiggle for a few more breaths. Involve your neck and your chin, your tail if you like. When you're ready to come back towards neutral tabletop, we'll stretch into the shoulders. So you can plant down into your right hand and inhale your left arm out and then up, reaching upward. And exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind. Land on your shoulder, ear, or jaw. And breathe here. As you breathe, begin to pay attention. Notice when you're asked to stay, if the breath can still move in and out in the Vinyasa form, in the Ujjayi style. And you're welcome to move your right hand to any variation that you like, out long, overhead, to thread the needle. And that's true for all postures. If there's a variant you want to work on, or there's something that occurs to you organically, feel free to make it your own. That's often the most effective way through, is through feeling and with applied intelligence and awareness, of course. If you did move your right hand, return it to the mat near your nose and inhale your left arm back to the sky, out and then up, reaching upward. Let's do a few circles like freestyle. Exhale, sweep your arm forward and down. You can bend the elbow if you like as you inhale to take it back and up. And exhale to circle forward and down like you're pushing through water. Inhale to pull it back and up. And on this exhale, set your left hand all the way down on the mat and inhale your right arm out and then up, reaching upward. And exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind, come down to shoulder, ear, or jaw, and breathe. And again, any variation you like. It could be the same from side to side, but it doesn't have to be. I suggest sometimes it's helpful to press your feet tops down or to find a stable action through your legs. It's okay if the landing pad of your face is closer or further from your knees, or if you need to grab a cushion to land on. Sometimes this posture is really about twisting the pressure of your rib cage turning to the left. And sometimes it's more about compression, sort of dropping down onto your right arm. So really there's lots of variant depths, as it were, that could be of physical use. Explore where the positioning needs to be for your anatomy, which is truly often different, right? For vast degrees and ratios of range of motion and action, diversity of body celebrated through diversity of action. And as you breathe into your back ribs and side ribs, remember breath is a sign you're here and you can take action. Breath is in the here and now, so paying attention to the breath will give you an idea about the quality of things, the connection of your body to the other layers of yourself. If you moved it, return your left hand to the mat near your nose and inhale, reach your right arm out and then up, maybe turning the gaze up to twist. Like freestyle swimming, exhale, press your right hand forward and down. Inhale, you might bend the elbow to send the arm back and up. And exhale, press forward and down. And one more time like that. Inhale, backing up, rotating, and exhale to land your right hand on the mat under your shoulder. Inhale, cow pose, curl under your toes. Exhale, down dog. Spin your knees and hips up and back. You might keep your knees very bent. You're welcome here to move around a little. I suggest nodding the head, walking the dog as you breathe in the Ujjayi form, in and out through your nose. And I often suggest that you let the pose be your own. So instead of trying to line up your wrists with the front of the mat, you might turn your wrists out a little, turning your index fingers more straight forward with hands spread wide, especially if in the back of the shoulders you meet a lot of compression. You feel like you're always kind of rounded. Sometimes you can kind of go around that meeting place by widening out the hands, especially if you feel like all your weight's in the upper body. Wider hands can be a good tactic as well. With bent knees, you might have more slack in your hamstrings to spin your tailbone up and extend through your shoulders to stretch your spine. Hang your head. Everyone's shoulder joint will be made differently. Everyone's hamstring stretchiness will be different day to day. You might drive your heels down and straighten your legs over time, but remember to let your spine be the priority. Draw your navel in up and back. Take an inhale, lift your right leg up and back, one-footed dog pose. And on the exhale, roll your ankle around one time. Take an inhale, try to lift your right leg just a hair higher, squeeze the glute and hamstring. And exhale, scorpion the dog. Open your hip and bend your knee, hang your head. You're welcome to quote unquote square off your shoulders to the ground. You can also twist to the right. It's okay to try both. Relax your neck and head. Breathe into your back and side ribs. And allow the weight of your right foot to kind of pull on the front of your right hip and the front of your belly muscles. Good. As you're ready, inhale, straighten and extend your right leg back and long. Exhale, right knee towards nose, chin towards chest, shoulders over wrist like in plank pose. Listen, inhale, lower your right knee towards the mat, right below where it is right now, below the chest. And exhale, pull your knee back up towards your nose. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach your right leg out, up and back. And exhale, downward dog pose, 2 feet to the mat. Inhale to your tippy toes, spike your heels up. Exhale, bend your knees by 10-15 degrees. Inhale, spin your tail more high, press your armpits more back towards your ankles. And on your exhale, slowly drive your heels down. Try to keep your tail high as knees straighten to some degree. Inhale to your tippy toes and exhale, bend your knees. This time, inhale, press with your feet to come forward into plank, shoulders over wrists. And on your exhale, bend your knees all the way down to the mat. Inhale like cow pose, lift your chest and tail. And on your exhale, bend your elbows, try to lower your heart. Now, it might not get all the way down. Wherever you end up, we're going to head to Cobra. So you'll slide or swing your ribs forward to put your hips down, tops of your feet down. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, bring your chin or forehead to the mat. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, Cobra, any form you like, warm up the spine. Exhale, bring the upper body down. 1 more time, follow your own breath. Press into your hands and into your knees, curl your toes, and inhale up through that same action like cow pose. And exhale, keep that same length as you head to downward facing dog. Take a couple of good breaths in the Ujjayi form and down dog. Try not to overmanage yourself towards some perfect form. Right? There's all sorts of aesthetic systems. Go study ballet. They're all into that stuff. It's radical. But here, it's less about the aesthetic and more about the sensation. Also more maybe about the anatomical effect, which is differently achieved from body to body. Inhale your left leg up, one-footed dog. And take an exhale there. Roll the ankle around 1 time. Inhale, squeeze through the glute, lift your leg a little higher, and exhale, scorpion the dog, open your hip, bend your knee, and breathe. Now you can totally bend your standing leg too and lift your standing heel, especially if that's effective in down dog. This is similar structure. We just lost one of our points of contact with the earth. All right, as you're ready, inhale, straighten and extend the left leg high back and long. And exhale, left knee towards nose, chin towards chest, shoulders over wrist. Pause and listen. Inhale, tap the knee on or towards the mat below. Exhale, knee to nose or chest. Inhale, one-footed dog. Reach the leg high and long behind you. And exhale, downward facing dog pose, 2 feet on the mat. Inhale, tippy toes, spike your heels up. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale out into a plank, upward push-up position. Exhale, side plank with your right hand as the base. I suggest even coming to the right forearm if you'd like. I'm going to, because we're trying to really work the muscles that support the spine without overworking any other muscles. So you can stagger your feet or stack them if you'd like. I like to think about bringing my body into a relative line without over managing the curves, especially if your head is forward. You might think about trying to bring it back in line. You're welcome to look up if your neck allows. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath since you've probably already been there. I know you earnestly head towards the hard poses quickly, even when I can't see you. Okay, let's switch sides. Next exhale or 2, bring your left hand or left forearm down and roll to the outside edge of your left foot. Feel free to stagger or stack the feet. You can always step the top foot over and down onto the ground as well if you wish. And again, bring your head into relative line with your body and study your breath. Even though there's a lot asked of you here, is there still room for ease in the breath, for perspective on action? Good. Exhale to plank pose. I suggest forearm version. You're welcome to do it from your hands. And again, let's not overmanage. We tend to sort of be really good at sort of puffing everything up. If you can let your body be as it is and breathe, just 5 breaths. Always feel free to do this from your knees if it's kinder. Good. Next couple of exhales. Slowly lower your hips to the mat, Sphinx pose. Let's come into a lifted version. You can always take it wider, right? If you need it to be lower, wider is really my suggestion as opposed to back here, which can get congested in your neck. You're always welcome to lift up higher, to put a support, a pillow or cushion underneath your chest. We're here for about 5 breaths. If you know you're looking for more pressure in your lower back connective tissue, you can bend your knees and bring your toes to your tail, or you can start to lift your upper body higher to create deeper curve. 3 more breaths. Find a way for your neck to be that is kind and that allows your breath to flow freely through the circuits. Awareness of the body is also often considered prana, right? The ability to let it move through an intricate detail. Good. Next few exhales, let's slowly come down to the mat. Release the legs long, bring your hands under your shoulders and curl your toes under. From knees or toes, inhale through a plank and exhale back through down dog. Spin your tail high and your heels low. Here in down dog, take a big free inhale in through your nose. And open mouth exhale, HA. Very nice. Inhale in through your nose again. Let yourself get broad with breath. And open mouth exhale, HA. Ujjayi, breathe in through your nose, snoring. Ujjayi, breathe out through your nose, sighing. Take an inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward. And your exhale, travel to the top of your mat. You might walk or tiptoe or hop or float. We'll hang out in ragdoll for a little while so you can widen the feet and bend the knees as much as you'd like. You might flip your palms up, grab for opposite elbow and hang your head. Swaying from side to side is always invited. You're always welcome to, occasionally have to mosey an animal out of the way. They love when your face comes to the ground, or realize what's around you and just let that be true, right? Sometimes we don't quite have the space. In my house, we keep hitting our aloe plant every time we practice. I don't know why. It's just really wildly growing and it's a thriving time for the aloe. But you might find that those sorts of things can get integrated. Let the reality that is be where you're practicing and what you're doing, the power of here and now, as opposed to trying to replicate another experience or time. Next exhale or two, release your arms down out of any chosen grip. And choose your feet for Surya Namaskara A, sun salutations. We're going to do 5 or 6 of them in the classic form. Your feet could be together, they could be hips distance, they could be any point in between, but the idea is stability. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. You're welcome to press your hands into shins or thighs. If there's furniture nearby, you can also use that. Draw your belly in and back. Exhale, forward fold, hang in to your legs. And again, inhale, halfway lift. Let the breath carry your breastbone, your sternum forward. And on your exhale, let it round you in. One more time. And bend your knees, hang your head, 3 to 5 breaths to round up. Now, if you know rounding is not for your spine, it's always okay to flat back up or to support yourself by walking your hands up your legs. Otherwise, just slowly round. Try to let each vertebra stack on top of the one underneath it. When you get to the top, take a few exhales to roll your shoulders down your back and to stand in relative neutral at the top of your yoga mat. You're welcome to bring, again, some awareness to your feet. Close the eyes if it's available. I find like they just haven't designed the right yoga clothes yet because we all feel like we need to adjust them, even if we're home with the cats. So if you need to do it, do it. Let it be part of your practice that you've become aware of this truth and that you're shifting it. Focus less on the fact that there is something that needs shifting and more on that the practice is of shifting. We transition again and again. We inhale and exhale. We practice flowing with change. We practice moving with the karma of the universe so we don't get stuck in our own suffering. On your next inhale, flutter your eyes open. On your next exhale, tune into what's around you. Slowly at first, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale your arms out and up. Urdhva Hastasana, reach up. You can have your hands shoulder distance. You're welcome to press your palms, as it were, and gaze upward if it feels good in your neck. And make sure your shoulders are working down your middle back a little bit so you can draw your belly muscles back, press your feet down, and lift the floor of your pelvis up. Take another inhale, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. You can stick out your tail if you wish, hinge at your hips, bring your forehead toward your shins. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, hands down. Let's step back to plank pose and lower all the way down to the mat for Cobra. Tops of the feet down. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, bring your upper body down and curl under the toes. Inhale through plank or hands and knees. Exhale to down dog. Spin your tail high, drive your heels low, and breathe. Move around a little if you need to. Nod your head yes and no. You can always choose to experiment with the distance between hand and hand, foot and foot. We stay in down dog for about 3 to 5 rounds of breath in every round of sun A. So when you get there, notice what it's like to stay there. It's like figuring out, I'm going to be in the waiting room for a while, right? Which magazine am I going to read? Who am I going to people watch? And what business on my phone do I need to take care of? Except for with total awareness, right? Take an inhale. On your next exhale, step, hop, or float to the top of your mat, arrive on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine. Exhale, forward fold, round in. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching out or forward or through the center to rise upward. And exhale, Samasthiti, return to neutral standing. All right, inhale, arms up, reach upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step, hop, or float back and lower about halfway. Inhale, up dog, or choose Cobra to strengthen the spine from the belly down position. Exhale, down dog, spin your tailbone high and your heels low. And breathe into your back and side ribs, your gills. When we salute the sun, we really are saluting a lot of the energy of action, of response, the solar side of things. Heat and power creates change. And that's also scary forces, right? Things that can burn us. So as you notice your own ability to churn that energy, remember kindness is the first tenet. As you press into your hands, next available exhale, step or float. Forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold, dive in. Inhale, arms up, pose, breathe into your back ribs to carry you all the way upward. And exhale, Samastitihi, arrive at neutral. A few more. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, folding deeply. Trini, inhale, unroll to set. Chatwari, exhale, step or float, Chaturanga Dandasana. Pancha, inhale, upward dog, or an alternative. Shat, exhale, downward dog pose. 3 to 5 breaths. Ujjayi pranayama, in and out through your nose. Good. Feel the ground under your thumbs and exhale, step or float forward, land on the soles of your feet. Supta, inhale, halfway lift. Ashto, exhale, forward fold. Noah, inhale, all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana, the arms up posture. And exhale, Samasthitihi, return to neutral standing. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Chaturanga, exhale, step or float. Inhale, upward dog, press into strong hands. Keep your legs active. Exhale, down dog, tail high, heels low, and breathe. Remember, an alternate to down dog is always table or child's pose. You're never obligated to do any of these chaturanga flows. You can hang in plank or lower for cobra. Find them as palate cleansers for you. What do you need to rinse, clear the spine and the body to move on to the next cycle? Press into your hands. Exhale to the top of your yoga mat. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, pose. And exhale, Samasthitihi, arms come down. Good, last one. Inhale the arms up, reach upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose or an alternate. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Breathe in and out through your nose. On your next exhale, step or float forward, land on your feet soles at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, Samasthitihi, return to neutral. Very nice. We're going to start working into the hips and the legs. Inhale, take your arms up as if we weren't already overhead. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll. And exhale, fold and step your left foot back so your right foot is forward, long, low lunge, all 10 toes face forward. And always stack up books, or if you have nearby walls or furniture, use them instead of the ground. Inhale, cow lunge, dip your back knee down, lift your chest up. Exhale towards cat lunge, straightening both legs, round in. Inhale, cow lunge, dip your hips, lift your chest. Exhale, cat lunge. Continue through these two postures with your breath. Some folks prefer this lower down version, and that might be you. You're welcome to give it a go with the back knee on the earth. Continue to breathe. And the next time your front knee is bent, pause and drop your back knee down. Now you can fold your mat over to create padding. You can keep your back toes curled. Sometimes that helps. And just put a t-shirt, extra sweatshirt under there and rise up onto your right knee thigh and interweave your fingers. It's okay if your knee comes past your ankle, but you want to try to keep your heel on the ground. So if it's lifting, you might just be more bendy than you think, have to shift it forward. Some of us meet a lot of compression in this front hip, and if that's you, you might walk your leg out a little or turn it out a little to avoid in that front hip. And pressing your right hip back and your left hip forward to seek stretch in your left psoas. Inhale your left arm up by your ear and exhale, side body bend to the right. And use your right hand on the ground or on a wall or on your right knee. And see if you can expand your left rib cage up to the sky as you breathe. Now, if you wish, you can start to bend your back knee just to see if it changes anything. It might change things in a way you don't want it to change, in which case you might put your foot back down. And again, here you might roll your ankle around just to notice. Good. Next exhale or two, release your left hand down inside of your right foot. Right hand can come to the right knee or up overhead. Twist to the right. Inhale. And exhaling to turn a little deeper. Continue to breathe. You are welcome to bend your back knee again and reach around for it. If your quad and knee feel ready for that at this time, stay rooted in your right heel, even if you're turning your right foot out to the right. If you're a lover of rolling to the blade of your foot, don't let me take it away from you. Just be mindful about the pressure in your ankle versus in your hip. Good. Release your back leg and bring your hands down on the inside of your right foot. You might toe heel your right foot up and out to the right for lizard posture. We're going to do a little cow cat in the chest here. So inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, bend your elbows and round down like you're trying to tap your head towards the earth. Inhale, lift your heart up, pull your shoulder blades down, a little like upward dog. And exhale, round in like you're trying to put your forehead on the earth. One more time, inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale, round in. Good. Inhale, lift your heart up. And on the exhale, we're going to try to walk the right foot in front of the right hand and walk the right hand behind the right foot into the outside edge. So you're working your arm. I'm going to angle towards you a little bit to the inside, your shoulder to the inside of your knee. And then your hand goes behind into the outside edge. Now here you might find that you can sort of pull your elbow forward enough and plant your right hand down and kind of rest your right leg on your arm. You might not. Your foot and your arm and your leg might be making contact down at your wrists, etc., so on, and that's okay. Hang your head and work your forehead towards the inside of your right leg, or if you have a lot of range, you might bring your chin on or over your right shin. Breathe. Alternative option to hang the head and let it come down towards the earth as you had been in those little cow-cat businesses. Cool. Let's get out of there. So climb up and out the way you went in and down. Curl your back toes under and lift your left knee up off the mat. Take an inhale. Listen, exhale, start to walk your hands towards your left foot. Turn your all 10 toes to face the long left side of your mat for Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands might be under the shoulders. Inhale, unroll, and exhale, folding deeply. Bend your elbows like tripod headstand style and push the earth away to try to bring the crown of your head towards the ground. Every once in a while, it's super easy to do that. Tuck your chin, round your spine. If you feel like your knees need to bend, do. Just keep a little contraction in your legs so that they're stable where they are. They're creating resistance. Plug your heels down. Breathe into your back body. Good. Inhale, half lift style, and roll your heart. Exhale, low lunge to the front of your mat. Walk your hands around to frame your right foot. All right, inhale, one-footed dog. Your right leg up and back. Exhale, scorpion dog. Open your hip and bend your knee. Inhale, straighten and reach through your leg. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest, shoulders over wrist like plank. Inhale, one-footed dog. Reach, expand. Exhale, low lunge. Step your right foot forward. You might have to grab it and pull it up to get length. All right, we're going to inhale up to high lunge, all 10 toes forward. You can climb up your right knee or sweep your way up. Press your back thigh bone forward. So instead of kicking into your back heel or resting into the slack of your arch flexibility of your foot, you're settling down into your front heel. Draw your belly in, but know that a back bend is part of the posture. And if you like, the arms can be up. The hands can always be in front of the heart, especially if the shoulders fatigue. Do what you need to, bend the elbows or take the hands wide. Good. As you draw your navel back, take an inhale to reach up. And on your exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Put weight down in your right foot and slowly shift your weight forward. Try to drag your left foot up to hang in front of your left hip socket in the one-footed form of mountain posture. And that's like an awkward transition, so take your time. We'll meet each other here. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, figure four. Cross your left ankle over your right knee and bend your knee. Sink your hips down. Option to take your arms out to the sides, palms up from your shoulders. Option to wrap your left elbow over your right for eagle arms and to drive your elbows straight upward towards the sky. Good. Take a big free inhale. And on your exhale, slow, release your arms, release your legs. Find Samasthitihi. And if you'd like, you can sort of wiggle around a little, release your hips. Inhale your arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, cactus arm back bend. Bend your elbows, lift your heart up, hang your head back. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. And exhale, forward fold, dive down over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back this time. Left knee forward. Tented fingertips or draw hands to blocks. And inhale, cow lunge, dip your back knee, lift your heart. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening both legs, round in. Follow your breath. Inhale to lift the heart to make space in the front seam. And exhale to round in. And again, you're welcome to any version as you continue to experiment in your own way. And the next time it's convenient in the long, low lunge, drop your back knee to the earth and you might pat it, curl the back toes under, etc., so on to feel stable. When you're ready, climb up onto your left knee thigh and interweave your fingers. And again, you might walk your leg out to the left a little if you know you need some more space. When you feel stable and ready, when you found the footing for you, you feel strong in the belly and lift the floor of the pelvis. That Mulabandha thing sometimes is really helpful, but just to the degree it's helpful. Take your right arm up, inhale, stretch up, and exhale by exhale, side bend over to the left. And again, you might keep your left hand on your knee or draw it to the earth. You're welcome to look up or to hang your head. It can be a nice time to play with bringing your shoulder more down your back as opposed to more up. If you'd like, you can start to bend your back knee and just see if it changes anything, breathing. I'm thinking a lot about this idea of the Leela Rasa, which is this parent dance that Krishna did for like 1 billion years with all of these people. Krishna has all the best stories, I think. But it gives us this idea that it's all a dance, right? That we're figuring out how to dance with it. And I don't know about y'all, I'm not actually a great dancer. It's always a struggle for me. So it's a really good metaphor for difficult times to consider, how do I dance with it? Good. And slowly, breath by breath, release your right hand down to the inside of your right foot, or left foot, excuse me. We're going to twist to the left hand on left knee, or left arm up, rotating. You're always welcome to bump your bottom hand up onto a book or onto a lift of some kind. Sometimes more room is the thing. If you're reaching back for your foot or bending your knee, feel free to do it. Take a few breaths. Good. And release 2 hands down for lizard pose or dragon. You might walk your left foot up and forward. And you can stay on your hands or start to come down to your forearms. Today I'm going to suggest we take the version where you walk your left hand around behind your left foot from the inside to the outside edge and try to work your shoulder underneath. From here, you might turn your face in that direction. You're feeling a lot in your outer hip, super normal. If you feel a bunch of twisting in your knee, you might not go so deep. You might stay a little more lifted. And in general, a little pressure is normal. If you can hook your chin over your shin, feel free, or put your head behind your leg, go to town. Remember, I can tell you from experience that doing neither of those things makes your life easier, makes people like you better, or anything like that. So don't worry too much about it if it doesn't seem plausible in your body. And slowly start to press yourself up and out of this place. Press into your hands. Let's curl the back toes under and lift the back knee up off the mat. Inhale. And exhale, walk your hands over towards your right foot until you're in Prasarita Padottanasana facing the right side of the mat. I'll let you do that without seeing me do it. Hang your upper body down. And this time you might take 2 peace sign fingers around big toes for pulling leverage or grab for the sides of your feet. So you're welcome to any variation you like. You can inhale to unroll your heart and exhale to fold deeply. Breathing. If you're pulling, try to keep moving your shoulder blades towards one another and your elbows away on that same line. Know that you're pulling with your biceps more than just elevating your shoulders with your neck muscles towards your ears. Good. Next couple of exhales, release any chosen grip. Inhale and roll your heart. Exhale, hands to the mat for a little pre-straddle pressing of handstand. The idea here is to weight your hands with your elbows straight. There's a desire sometimes to bend them, but try to keep them straight. And to inhale up onto your tippy toes and weight your hands and push from your shoulders down into the earth. And to exhale to put your heels back down. Let's do that 2 or 3 more times. Inhale to your tippy toes, press down with your hands, and exhale your heels down. And 2 more times, follow your breath. Inhale into your hands and exhale into your feet. 1 more time in your own breath. Inhale like a half lift when you're ready, and exhale, low lunge to your left foot. So you'll turn towards your left foot, but I'm gonna shift so I can be with you facing the same direction. Good, all 10 toes face forward. Climb up into high lunge, crescent lunge, Asana. Arms can come up by the ears. You can take the hands in front of you or at shoulder distance, but take a moment to calibrate. Draw the belly back, sink the pelvis down, straightening your back leg as much as you bend your front knee, 2 things against and with one another. Inhale to stretch up. Exhale your hands to your hips. Transition practice. Shift weight into your left heel and slowly come forward. I suggest leaning your upper body forward as leverage. Bend your right knee and hang your right thigh bone in front of your right hip. It can be graceful, but it doesn't have to be. Who are you while you're transitioning? Where is your sense of humor and awareness, even when you're falling and wobbling? When you're ready, take an inhale. Exhale to figure 4. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Bend your knees. Just sink your hip down and back. You can stay here with hands to hips. And take your arms out and flip your palms up to back bend across your chest. You're welcome to wrap your right elbow under your left elbow, whichever side you didn't do last time, and drive your elbows upward as you sink your hips down. When you're ready, exhale, release to Samasthitihi, release the arms, the legs, stand in neutral. Very good. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold Utkatasana. So your feet can be together or hips distance, hips low. Inhale, arms forward or up. Flare your tail out. Lift your heart up. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, open twist to your right. Bring your right arm back and your left arm forward. Drive your left hip back and down. Inhale back through center, Utkatasana. Exhale, open twist to the left, left arm back, right arm forward, right hip back and down. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Super Utkatasana, top thighs parallel to the floor. Take another inhale. Exhale. Super Utkatasana to the squared varieties. Sit down as low as you can without your heels lifting up. Take another big free inhale. Use your hands if you gotta. And exhale your hips to the earth. Nawasana boat pose. Bring your toes towards the earth or your heart up. Now I'm going to teach a couple variations. This is one variation. A lot of people know it. Try to keep your heart up while you do this and your shoulder blades down, so it doesn't become about this, but in fact this. You could also do toes on the earth or even feet on the earth, but just soften your legs so you're trying to load bear in the hips instead of in the feet with your heart lifted. Another way to do this is to come onto your forearms. That gives you a little more ability to stay open in your chest. You might bring your legs more out long in that variation. If you know the sort of classic variation of legs straight, you're welcome to work that way. But we're going to do a little twisting with our legs. Take an inhale and exhale, turn from your hips, legs to the right. So try to weight your right butt cheek and let your left hip get light. Inhale back through center. And exhale, twist your legs to the left. Try not to let them get any further away from your face. Lift your right hip up. Inhale through center. And exhale to the right. Continue. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. It's much smaller if you're up in these higher variations. Inhale up. And exhale to the right. Inhale up. And exhale to the left. Your legs, not your arms. Inhale up. Exhale right. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale left. Inhale up. Exhale. Bend your knees. Slide your legs long in front of you. Paschimottanasana, you can use your hands to pull a little flesh out from underneath you. If you like to tilt your pelvis, or roll up your mat and sit on the edge of it so that you have tilting without effort in your psoas. You can reach for your big toes. You can reach in space. You can reach up overhead. Take an inhale to extend your spine either way. And exhale, fold. You might use pulling leverage to draw yourself forward and down. Breathe into your back and side ribs. And consider again how things are, how you're paying attention, how you want things to be. What can you perceive of with your sensitivity training, as it were? Slowly round yourself up. And once you hit that top spring, bend your knees and place the soles of your feet on the mat and round yourself down onto your back body. So we're going to do a little fish business. So once you're down on your back, come onto your elbows like you're a kid sitting at the park, teenager, hanging out with friends. Yeah, that sort of gesture. And lift your heart up. So you might do this work right here like this. Try to turn your palms up and walk your elbows under. You might take your legs long and find that you have a little more room to flash dance it out through the front of your body. You might hang your head back. If you know active variation, you can walk your elbows towards your hips until the top of your head comes onto the ground. If you have neck issues, just be mindful. You can also support this by rolling up a blanket or putting a block behind your heart. Take a few breaths. Use the muscles in the back of your shoulder blades, back of your heart, shortening to puff out and open the fan of the front of your body. Relaxing your neck, press into your elbows to lift your heart up. If you can, feel free to tuck your chin and then exhale to come all the way down onto your back. Bend your knees, place the soles of your feet on the mat next to your hips, feet about hips distance. We're going to work into bridge pose with option to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana. So for bridge, plant your palms, exhale, pressure low back down, and inhale, lift your hips up. You might roll your shoulder blades together underneath you or interweave your fingers or do the funky robot arms to draw the shoulders active, just like you did in your fish pose, your Matsyasana. You're welcome to put a lift underneath your sacrum to create something to rest on, a passive or restorative form. You'd like to head to Urdhva Dhanurasana. You'll bend your elbows and put your hands on the mat. Fingers point down towards the shoulders. Hug your elbows in. And inhale to come on up. Some people will rest on the crown of their head, adjust their hands, pull their elbows in towards one another, and then inhale to come all the way up. About 4 or 5 more breaths. If you're up in something though and need relief, remember it's always kind to let yourself exit in your own timeline. If you're up in Urdhva Dhanurasana, try to relax the back of your neck. No need to look up underneath yourself. And slowly, next 3 or 4 exhales, begin to scheme your exit. Be kind to your neck. Come all the way down. Once your tail is on the ground, drop your legs from side to side a little. Make a little extra space for yourself. When your lower back feels soft, you can begin to gather your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. Now here I suggest that you start to consider finishing postures or actions that make sense for you. Often the good one after back bending is to twist, but if you're like, oh, I really need to do like 2 more back bends, like go ahead and do them. If you know it's time for you to do something like plow or shoulder stand or to do inversion work, take the time to do so. As always, we're probably going to end a few minutes late. So if you need to wrap things up and turn off your computer, turn off the screen and rest, it's always okay to do that. Otherwise, we'll take the next few minutes to wind down towards resting. Next, let's say about 15 breaths, maybe 20 if you're a quick breather, to wind in and out of any last movements. And they could be postures, but you might have rituals. There might be pranayama, there might be a meditation, there might be something else that you need to do to complete your practice. And I very much suggest that you do what is necessary, what is required. And when you do head to rest, whether that be sooner or later, know that you're welcome to rest in any position that makes the most sense for you. You might rest on your side or your belly or your back. You might take corpse pose. That's the one most of us know the best. That might be familiar. You might be nearby like a super friendly couch or something that you want to utilize in this way, in which case feel free to do so. Lay down and get cozy. Wrap yourself up if you need to. Grab a small dog to rest with. My small dog is sleeping elsewhere. I know, what a traitor. You should be here with us. And as you settle down and do what you need to do, continue to let yourself feel like you can explore and be present to what is. Sometimes our timeline starts to make us feel like we have to just get it done. And remember, there's no sort of quantitative value to the work, all qualitative. When you do get to resting, you're welcome to close your eyes. You're welcome to look at one spot on your ceiling if you wish. And welcome to rest your arms and legs in a different variation or position or on support. I suggest taking any last wiggles or fidgets that you might need to take. So that you can settle down to rest, whatever those things might be for you. Once you've gotten the last yayas and you know that you've done what you could, hopefully you can rest in the truth that you set yourself up as well as possible. We'll rest in this way for a few minutes. Once again, if you know you need to mute things, and just take your time to rest and roll out when you're done. That's a beautiful way to practice, and I encourage it. It's always okay. It's good for you to start to practice these individual beginnings and endings, because gathering together is good, but you can practice on your own, right? And having that capability to tap into that power of your practice at any time, I suggest that you take it on, right? You have the agency, the value, you are enough to do that, as it were. Once you've settled down into rest, I'm going to let us rest for a few minutes, 2 or 3, and then I'll call you up and out with closing chant. Until then, you might relax your face and jaw. You might give over any last control or manipulation you have of your ujjayi breath, so that what you're hearing is just the sound of your own rise and fall, your organic breathing. You can hear a loud sound of breath. Usually you're changing it in some way. Know that it might be choppy or held or a little strange to let your breath do this at first, but homeostasis will draw it towards neutral no matter what. And as you rest in the attempt or work of relaxation and ease, continue to pay attention to how things are in this universe of you. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Govramanyebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Very slowly, as if from a great distance, begin to return your awareness to your breath and watch its natural organic rise and fall. Maybe note the soft, gentle thud of your heart in your chest. I am. Your blood moving through your veins. And little by slowly, when you discern a return to action, begin here from the center of all things. Notice the breath drawing in and out, and decide to breathe in a way that is longer and slower, perhaps, that is on purpose, with intention, just enough to start to breathe your way back to waking awareness and waking life. And slowly, as impulse for movement and action emerges, you can follow your breath and your heartbeat into it, wiggle your fingers and toes, scrunch and spread your face, Run your tongue over your teeth, roll your ankles and wrists. Maybe something impulsive altogether, your own, that is none of those things. And slowly over the course of the next few breaths, pick an exhale, maybe 3 or 5 breaths to draw your knees into your chest. You're lying on your back or with your legs up a wall, that is, and to roll on to your favorite side. Right side being a little more solar and responsive, left side being a little more lunar and reflective. And take a moment to practice gratitude for the timeline, for your place in the time of all things, remembering that your work today has everything to do with all of the things that came before, everything to do with all that will come after. And as you're ready, use your top hand to press yourself up into a nice tall seat, and we'll seal in the practice. As you transition, know that that is the traditional closing chant in the lineage of Krishnamacharya, from which Vinyasa yoga comes in the south of India in Gokulam and Mysore. The text is from the Rig Veda, one of the Vedic texts of knowledge, one of the oldest texts we have that sort of outlines the philosophy and darshan of all things yoga and Buddhist and tantric and all of that good stuff. The overarching meaning is, may the energy that creates no victory over destruction. May the noble practitioners and leaders here be blessed, and may their work be effective and cultivate abundance and wisdom. And may our work seek to contribute to the happiness and liberation of all beings everywhere inside of this context of universality, non-dualism, kindness, compassion, connection, peace. If you'd like, you can fold your hands in the Anjali Mudra, the prayer position, symbolizing that meeting place of seemingly oppositional or polar forces come together at the center of everything, where they meet along the spectrum of all. If this gesture doesn't mean that for you, you might hold the idea in your mind that separation or distance or polarity or disparity is the illusion, right? Connection is what we're paying attention to, the idea that all things have effect with one another. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your effort. If you wish, you can bring thumbs to third eye, acknowledging that the working of your mind must always bow to the compassion of your heart. If you wish, you can bow it to yourself, seal in your practice. Thank you for coming in to practice. I'm going to